I'm Matthew Hodges, and I run for the Hillgrove cross country team. And some injuries that I've gone through over the years has been hip problems, Achilles problems, and just a lot of injuries like that. And one of the main ones that took me out was my left femur, and that took me out for 2 seasons, which led me to Dr. Hall.
Tell them a little bit about that femur situation.
So the femur situation, it was almost random, like just over a lot of accumulation of just running. I just started to feel some weird tingling in my leg one day, and then I realized, oh shoot, I can't run anymore.
We also, I think we started, did we not start with the knee?
We did.
I
We
think we
started
started
with
with
the
the
knee.
knee, right?
hmm
And that led us to what ended up happening? Like when we started with the knee, what did we talk about the very first time when we met?
It was that. It was the disease. I don't know what it was called, but
Well, we said it was Osgood-Schlatter disease, right? That's
right.
kind of what we said. Now,
hmm
what was really interesting was we said, where was it coming from?
The hip.
Yeah. And then
hmm
eventually, what did we have after that?
Achilles.
Right. So it started this whole process, which is really interesting. His story is really cool, is because he found out that he had other things going on, and it wasn't just the knee.
hmm
What do you have to do every day to make that work? And how old are you again?
16.
So
Miss no days. If I miss a day, the next day is going to be terrible. So,
what's fascinating is like if you don't do that,
yeah.
I don't have to do anything. Your mom, no one has to do anything.
hmm
You'll know.
Right.
Matthew's been through over 16 different varied conditions over the last several years. And what is fascinating is that the reason why he's better today and can run is because he does this stuff. It's the truth. Because it's not just me. Because if it was just me, that'd be cool.
So where I was before, I could barely run at all. Like I'd probably do 1 day a week. But now I'm at the point where Dr. Hall has me on this crazy 7 day a week schedule. So
What's your mileage like right now?
mileage, I'd probably say probably in the 40s,
40s.
probably.
And again, 16, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
So when I had my injuries, I got into like a really bad state. Like I kind of felt kind of down because I was constantly having to watch other people pass me and just always having to be on the sidelines, just being a cheerleader. So that kind of really messed with me and it kind of made me like sad at times, but it kind of also taught me that sometimes you need to be a cheerleader for others.
You really worked on your mental stuff too, and your
Oh,
mindset, your
yes.
mental stuff, all the different things that go along with that. You've really actually worked on that quite a bit. It's actually one of the bigger things that you and I have had conversations about throughout this process is working through those from a mindset perspective.
hmm
We even talked about reading books even too, so that was kind of
Oh,
interesting. So
yeah. So I found it back when Coach Gambrell was here. And he was doing a little presentation, and he happened to have sports dynamics as one of the doctors recommended. And we made a call up to the office, and I saw Dr. O for the first time. And Dr. O has helped me a lot during this, especially like regaining my confidence, because my confidence used to be real low when I first started, like not being able to run at all and just being blatantly slow. But as my injuries have started to fade away, my confidence began to grow because now I can run confidently without having to know that I'm just so injury prone. And one thing Dr. Ho does is he listens to your injuries. Like you could tell him something and he'll figure it out. Maybe not the first time he'll get it right, but the second time it's almost guaranteed he'll have it down ready to get you done.
So when we first started, just like with anything else, we started with a functional movement assessment. We really based everything around how he was moving. When we were doing that, essentially we were able to determine that there are other things that were affecting how you were moving. And we wanted to basically say, listen, these are the original problems we think are going on. And we know that this problem, or let's say the knee for a second, is a problem and we're going to address it. But we start with the functional movements. Now, those movements kind of point us towards where we can go or should go. And as we do that, then we'll use combinations like ART or a different type of scraping or Graston style techniques, cupping techniques. We've done different needling things. We've done Yeah, that's the response everybody gives me. It is a very interesting thing because we'll use every single style of technique. Even sometimes we'll be doing a scraping technique while doing walking style movements or movement doing that. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things that are based off of how you move and movement in general with it. Seems to increase the outcome to the point that sometimes we'll do some of these treatments, we'll try some of these things. It kind of points us down the road where we need to go. And like you were saying, it may not be the finishing aspect in that moment, but we may learn enough from that the next time I get a chance to have him run or do something. We get that response and we can treat it a little bit differently, whether that's active release technique or grasping technique or cupping or manipulations, spine manipulations, joint manipulations, ankle manipulations, or adjustments. Those are all very common to see in our line of work. And what's really interesting is we do not do the same thing every single time. And that's the funny part he jokes about actually a lot with me is he doesn't really know what I'm going to do. And the truth is because it's based on the movements. And he laughs sometimes. He goes, well, I've got this problem and I don't know what you're going to do, but we'll give it a shot and try and see if it'll work. It's pretty interesting.
Dr. Ho is just a great doctor. That's all I can say to end it
I
off.
appreciate that. I did not pay him to say that. I
Mhm.
do appreciate that. I do. Uh, Kids like Matthew are not always. What's unique about him is not there are not a lot of kids out there like him. And the reason why I say that is because the kid, he won't tell you this, but he gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do 2 hours of rehab if he has to. He'll get up and he'll run if he has to. He'll do whatever he has to do to get it done. He'll go to bed early. He'll skip other stuff. And the truth is, and I'm not going to label them all specifically. We talked about the knee a little bit, but if I were to label every single injury, all the 16 different ones that he's actually had, none of you would be walking. And that's the truth. What you've been able to go through and what you've been able to overcome has a lot to do with what you have done. Now, I know we helped you, right? But at the same time, had you not been doing what you were doing, it would not have worked. So it's a kudos to you because you definitely have to be able to have that. And in conjunction with rehabilitation and manual therapy, it will get to where it needs to go. But I'm excited for you because we went from a point where coaches would tell us you should pick another sport. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Did they say
definitely.
that to
They
you?
told me that.
They told you to pick
Hmm.
another sport because you couldn't run. To the point where you're now passing the coach and running 6 to 7 days a week
Right.
and overcoming all those. And that's a they told you that 2 years ago, right?
2 years
2 years
ago.
ago. So it took 2 years to get to the point where everything's really consistent. That and that's another thing, right? A lot of conditions it takes you a while to get through.
Hmm.
And some of them come back. That's the other hard part, right? So we'll fix one thing. The joke is with the family sometimes we fix one thing and get another broken thing. But that's because there's multiple different ones going on at the same time. It's never just a peachy kind of day. I've had those. We've had them.
We've had them
We've
for
had.
sure.
Have we not had time? We have had
Yeah.
time where it's been all fun and games. Nothing's
Hmm.
wrong. I'm like, yes, this is going to be the year that we don't have to worry about it. And then this happens, or
Yep.
whatever.